intel. True intel, of course, means true intelligence. I'm Andy Zubia, and today we have a very, very special guest, Maria Garcia. Maria, say hello to our audience.
Hello.
Yes, today, Maria, I want to talk about the economy in America. I want to talk about the crises in the economy. I want to talk about the mortgage crisis. I want to talk a little bit about foreclosures. And certainly I want to talk a little bit about bankruptcies. As you know, America is in an economic crisis, and we're in a mortgage crisis. But I wanted to get your point of view regarding what actually happens to a homeowner, what actually happens to a family that is behind on their house payments, that is about ready to go into foreclosure, that has $10, $15, $20, or $30,000 in credit cards. I've seen segments on television and on cable where they're showing the program and people are in foreclosure and they're being evicted. How do you think that impacts the American family when there's a foreclosure?
The impact is huge. The emotional breakdown is amazing, and it's devastating for not only the person, the household, the one that, manages and keeps everything balanced, but it also affects the kids.
That's very true.
It affects everyone in the house. And, it's very tragic that we have to see these type of things happen every day. And I can tell you from now that the pain is immense. People can't sleep. There's, emotional breakdowns where you cry because you're frustrated. Then you start to use your last resources. That's when people start taking advantage of your loss, of your unbalanced ways. That's when it comes in.
Well, let me say this to you, Maria, and to our audience. Certainly, it's important to know that when you are having an economic meltdown, it not only affects you, it affects your wife, it affects the children, it affects the household, and it could really affect your job. And as you know, we're having tremendous problems in America today because of unemployment, because of the people that are receiving jobless benefits. And certainly, you're right about the pain, you're right about the emotional breakdown, and one can only imagine what the American family is going through today. As a result of this crisis, foreclosures are at an all-time high, bankruptcies are skyrocketing, the price of houses is going lower, the cost of food and gasoline is going up, wages are at a standstill, people are getting reduced hours at work. How on earth does a family manage through all of this? How do they do it? One can only imagine the incredible pressure, the incredible stress that they must face on a day-to-day basis.
It's a matter of only the strong surviving, and I can tell you that most of the causes that people are divorcing and why people are separating is because of the economic crisis. Because a couple feels so frustrated that they can't even see each other anymore. And for a man to see his household go down the drain, I can't help my wife, I can't pay the bills, we're losing our house. That's very stressful.
Well, it has to impact him from the point of view that he's the principal breadwinner, or maybe the wife is the principal breadwinner. We're not being sexist here, but technically the entire family is suffering. The entire family is going through some very, very tough times. And then you compound the fact that the credit card companies are calling 5, 10, 15, 20 times a day, trying to get money, trying to get payments. I mean, how do people sleep? How do they rest? I mean, it must be a very, very difficult situation. And today we're talking about foreclosures, credit cards, we're talking about bankruptcies, and how it's affecting the American consumer, the American homeowner, because we have to look at that point of view as well. We can talk about modifications, we can talk about principal reduction, we can talk about nonprofit or organizations that are there to help, but we have never talked about the emotional side. We have never talked about the pain. We have never talked about the stress, the pressure. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to touch upon that today. And I know that this is a very tough subject, and I know that we have different points of view.
Of course, everyone does. Everyone has a different point of view, and to be more precise, everyone has a different way of tackling. Some people are strong that, they don't fall, and things keep coming towards them, but they still stand. Some people are way more weak. They're more fragile to things that happen because they're not used to that happening. Now, one thing that we do have is that people are frightened.
Absolutely.
They're scared.
You know what, Maria? That is an absolute perfect statement. People are frightened. And the question then becomes, is the American dream of owning a home, is it a dream or is it a nightmare? Think about that one.
That's a great question to say, and you just don't know.
Absolutely correct.
You just don't know until you find the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
When will we find it? We have no idea. Here's why. Because we see the news, we turn on the television, and the first thing we see is everyone collapsing. Foreclosures, evictions, bankruptcies, everything's going down. Gas prices are going high. Wages are staying the same. And hours are being reduced. And it's happening not only to the people who don't have big careers or degrees, it's happening to everyone. For instance, the courts.
Absolutely.
We used to have 5 days a week. Now, sometimes we only have 3 days a week or 2 days a week.
Exactly.
There's one Wednesday out of the month that the courts are closed.
Exactly. Let me say this. We want to thank our audience for tuning in, and we want you to know that at Real Estate True Intel, we want to bring you the most perfect strategies for protecting your assets, the most perfect strategies for protecting your home and protecting the very fiber of your family. We want to thank everybody today, and we want you to know that our thoughts and our prayers are with you, that in a small way we feel your pain, we know what you're going through, and that is why we are here. We want to be able to extend a hand to you. We want to be able to lend you a helping hand when it means the most to you. Thank you, Maria, for being our special guest today on another edition of Real Estate True Intel. True Intel coming to you. We'll see you next time.